Five,
Nicolas.
4, 3, 2, 1. And alright, guys, welcome to episode 8 of the Edutainment Corner. This is a podcast about all the things that are going on in the world from your average teenager's perspective. I'm Nicolas Combe, and here with me today is the absolutely wicked Wayne Linquist. How are you, man?
I'm doing A-okay. I got my drinks ready, and I'm ready to start.
That's awesome to hear. I've got my little water. We made pizza tonight, so I can't make chocolate milk.
Ooh. I got pork chops.
I like pork. Pork is good meat.
Yes.
I know meat isn't like good for you necessarily, according to some
Mm-hmm.
people, but I love it and I think
Oh,
it's okay.
we had it baked. We did not fry the pork chops. We baked them.
Yeah, that's. I think I'm trying to think how we make pork chops like generally. Um, I think it's
I
oven.
mean,
Yeah,
really?
you add a lot of spices over the pork and then you put it in
Oh,
the oven.
yes.
Yeah.
We cover our stuff with spice.
Oh, that sounds good.
Very good.
So I made some homemade pizza tonight. So no chocolate milk because that's a lot of calories altogether.
Yep.
But it's been only a week, guys. This is a Friday after the last Friday we did it on, and we're excited. I'm pumped.
Special from last week.
That's right, we did a special. I'm
Big,
really
big,
pumped
big
to
episode.
do this episode. So, do you want to get into some of the life updates, bro?
Before I do, I just want to make clear that this may be a relatively short episode.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now that we want to keep them long, but we are going to start doing weekly. So, for the first couple of episodes, they may be relatively short. We don't know.
Compared to usual, they're not going to be
Yeah,
15
compared to
minutes. They're going
usual.
to be a same podcast generally,
Yeah,
but it'll be a little bit shorter. Yeah,
yeah. So, life update. Um,
that's right.
I have in the last week have not really done anything. I've usually just spent the day in the house with my mom watching movies.
That's a
But
great way to spend the time, though.
yeah, we've watched a lot of movies. But this weekend will be very eventful.
Nice. What are you
Um
up to?
Saturday I'm going to get my second dose of the vaccine,
Ooh,
and I'm going to spend the day resting cuz I've heard from multiple people that the second dose makes you drowsy for like a day.
yeah.
Hopefully it won't lead on into tomorrow or on Sunday because I'm gonna go fishing with my friend DJ.
Nice. Where are you gonna go
I have
fishing?
actually I don't really know. It is somewhere in Smyrna.
Okay.
Um but this is the first time I've gone fishing in like since I was like 8.
Man,
A long time ago.
I'm trying to remember the last time I went fishing. I think it was 2 years ago. But before
Hmm.
that, it was a long time, and we only caught like a tiny little fish.
Well, I just figured out a couple days ago that you need a license
What?
to fish. Yeah, you need a license to fish.
Like in Tennessee or anywhere?
Pretty sure it's in Tennessee.
Whoa.
But I need to see the price of it actually. I'm looking that up right now.
I might have broken the law then.
Yeah. The cost of fishing a license. License.
Is that
Tennessee.
for life? Like, is that for taking the fish out of the ocean, or is that
It
literally for?
might. I'm pretty sure it might be.
Because we dropped the
Uh
fish back.
oh, you can get one at Walmart?
Oh, interesting.
Okay, $19 is a fishing license at Walmart.
Okay.
And that's a oh, you're kidding. It that's $19 for a single day of fishing.
What?
What?
You don't get like something like a driver's license where you get to hold on to that and then.
Nope. You can get an annual fishing license fee for $40.
Okay.
Yeah, but you cannot fish can fish free without a license public waters, agency owned or operated lakes and Tennessee parks. What? You know what? I'm not gonna look anymore. I just know that I need a license.
Yeah. Well, good luck, man. I hope you figure it out.
Yeah. What about you, man? What you got going on?
So, I don't remember if I said, I think I did last episode, where I was starting a lawn care business.
Oh yeah.
So we ordered a whole bunch of business cards.
Ooh. Can I
and
get one?
Huh?
Can I get one?
Sure. Yeah, I have 500. So if you want, I can
500.
mail it to you.
Holy. No, I could just walk over and get it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We
Doesn't
live really
matter.
close. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got the business card, and one thing I'm thinking I'm gonna do to up my my percentage the yield I get. I'm planning on
Mhm.
writing a little message on the back, like in handwriting, for each one. So it's gonna be a
Oh.
lot, but I think overall it's gonna get a better turnout.
Hmm.
So
What are you planning on writing on it?
just like, hi, I'm Nicola Combe. I'm a high school student at Riverdale. I'm planning on becoming an aerospace engineer, and just
Mhm.
letting them know a little bit about me, like, and getting to know me a little bit personally. So it's a little bit of a marketing trick, but I think it's worth it.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, gotta start somewhere.
Of course you do. I'm hoping that by the next, maybe not the next podcast, but definitely the one afterwards, I'll be mowing some lawns.
That sounds amazing. I can hit you up, mow my lawn. Our lawn was mowed today, so I don't think we'd be needing a lawn mowing.
That's all right.
Relatively soon, but
Yeah.
when time comes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
No problem.
The one other thing I was thinking about this week, and I was just brainstorming some ideas for names for our listeners. No, listeners, I don't know about what you think, but I think listeners is kind of a
Bland name.
Yeah, it's a little weird to call people that listen to your podcast, because it's not personal. They have no. We may only have 3 listeners, but those listeners really matter.
Yes.
So they need a
Yes, they
special
do.
name. And
We were thinking we had one, edutainers.
yeah. So that was.
Yeah.
So that was something that we'd come up with, is that this is the Edutainment Corner, and we are your edutainers. We educate you and we entertain you. That's where the word came from, and it was a whole lot better than entercation, which is the reverse compound of the 2 words. So instead of entertainment and education,
Edutainment sounds so much smoother.
the entercation corner just sounds a little
Off.
it sounds a little painful.
Yes. To just constantly say
Yes.
entercation.
But it's like,
education.
even imagine someone telling you to come visit the entercation corner. What goes on in the entercation corner is my question.
Yeah.
Whereas the edutainment
Edutainment.
sounds a lot better. So we are the edutainers because entertainers do this, and maybe
Yep.
just the thought we were thinking is the audience could be the edutained,
Edutained.
as
Yes.
in edutained, sort of the similar.
You are being edutained.
Yeah, we are edutaining you.
Yep.
So that was just the thought I had, and maybe you guys will like this. Maybe we'll decide. Another idea I had, and I don't know why, but we have a Discord, and I just like to randomly change everybody's names to pirate names occasionally.
Captain Blackbeard Jim.
Yeah.
Mine.
So on the Discord, I am Captain Swordtooth Willie, and Wayne is Captain Blackbeard Jim. And we have a couple of first mates, and the Painter the Plank is our artist for the show. And I was just thinking, it's possible that we could call our listeners the crew, because they're along for the ride, and they're... Maybe if we stick with the pirates, we might change them back to cavemen or whatever they were at before.
Yeah,
But that's just an idea we were thinking about. And the final idea I had come up with this week was the squishies.
The Squishies?
I don't know.
Really?
It sounds a little like fun to say. Just they're the squishies, and we affectionately refer to our listeners as the squishies.
But how would that relate to our audience?
Oh, it most certainly doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, but it's random.
It's just fun to say, the squishies. So that was just something I was thinking. We're probably not going to choose that one, of course. But we could call them the squishies.
Last resort.
Yes. If neither of the other two options are liked by the people,
Maybe,
we could do the squishies.
maybe what we should do is we should set up a poll.
Oh,
And
yeah.
oh, speaking about polls, this leads us into our first topic.
Did you just do a magnificent segue?
Yep.
That was one of the best
So
segues I've ever heard.
Nick did a couple of polls. Not a couple, honestly, a lot of polls. Um, and I'm gonna let you take this away, Nick.
All right, that's right. So
This is all you.
I have an Instagram. I don't use it for a lot of things, but occasionally I put up polls just because I'm curious what kids are thinking, like my fellow friends and people I talk about or talk to on a daily basis. So I have about 70 responses on each poll. So it's not a huge data set, but I was wondering, what kind of things people want to do when they grow up. I was curious about the future workforce of America because my dad and I talk about a lot about the future, and it's just things we'd like to think about. So my dad was curious, I was curious, so I set up a bunch of the polls because I was wondering what kids want to do when they grow up. Um, I some of the questions I asked were really really fascinating. I asked what percentage of the kids are going to college. So I said, are you going to college? Yes or no. Um, and I think we could I asked a whole bunch of questions. So I wanted to just kind of go through the percentages and ask you what you think and kind of compare and contrast and think about what the future is going to be like.
Call this section the future workforce.
That is exactly what it's called, yes. So I think college is a big one for me because I don't think you need to go to college. I'm not going to go to college most likely. And I think in today's world, I don't think college is necessary. I think it's still a good thing to have, but I don't think you need it, and I don't think the average person needs to go to college at all.
I think it's a waste of money,
I think so too,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
But I was curious.
So-
So I asked, how many of you are going to college? And there was a yes or a no. 79% of them said, yes, I'm going to college.
79.
Yeah.
For the amount of people that say college is useless and, waste of money, like I do,
Mhm.
even I might go to college because
Yeah.
College has been a big, what should I call this? Goal? Goal
Since
in mind?
you were little, yeah.
Yeah. Always been like, oh, I gotta go to college. I gotta get to college.
To me,
Um,
I think that's more than just you because only 16% of kids say that you need to go to college to be successful.
Yep. 16.
Yeah.
But yet 78% or 79% of the kids say that they're going to go to college, even though they think that you don't, or that you need to.
Yeah. So if we look at that, if we look at it on the numbers, that's 84% of kids that think you don't need to go to college, and only 5% less are going to college,
Mm-hmm.
which is fascinating to me.
Very weird.
So even though they all think that that college is useless, they still are going.
Would have to go. Yep.
Yeah. So that's just
May not
something
be-
I was thinking about. So I think college is very ingrained in society. I think it used to be very useful, like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, because a college degree was something that not everyone had. It was a rare thing, and it made you a valuable asset. But I think in today's world, showing that you know how to do things rather than just having a piece of paper that says you learned how to do something I think it's more important to show that
I
you know what you're
saw,
doing.
weirdly enough, I saw a TikTok, and it was this trend, but the words that came with it were very, stuck with me.
Mhm.
Boomers regret not going to college, and millennials regret going to college.
Yeah. And I think that's
The
how the
amount of
times
money.
have changed. Yeah.
College used to be this whole big thing, you can't get a job unless you go to college. And now it's like, influencers, entrepreneurs. It's like these kids, Some of them didn't even graduate high school,
Yeah.
which is weird to me.
Think there's a lot of people who never went to college and they became really successful. And there's a certain tweet Elon Musk made that always sticks back to me. He tweeted, like, reply to this tweet if you remember, if you with the most interesting designing and engineering problem you've ever solved. I'm hiring for Neuralink. He didn't ask about college resumes. He didn't ask about anything other than the most interesting design/engineering project you've completed.
Yep.
And that was right around the time I was starting to question, is college really necessary? And that cinched it for me that if Elon Musk, for one of his biggest companies, is not worried about whether or not you have a college degree, I don't think it's important.
Yeah.
Now, I think if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something, you still need to
yeah.
go, of course. But
Definitely not go to college.
I think for most kids, it's not something that you need to do.
For most jobs, you don't really.
Yeah,
Especially with like numbers, like
yeah,
they're numbers. Unless you want to take some pretty advanced courses that I don't think I'm gonna. Unless I'm doing something with engineering or space. I
yeah,
don't think I'd need to know circumference
exactly.
or no.
And even still, becoming an aerospace engineer is something I really want to do. That's what I plan on being when I'm older. But I don't think I'm gonna go to college for that because I think there's plenty of other ways you can get to where you want to be without having to take 4 years and get a lot in debt to learn something. I think it's a lot better if you can spend your time and make your years count in those 4 years that you would spend in college. I think it's a lot more important that you use those. You can let those count if you have a career that you're going to go into fresh out of high school, and use that time to learn by yourself and start solving engineering problems and learning the skills you need to learn rather than just going and getting a piece of paper with your name on it.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but
Hey.
I might regret this later, but
You only live once.
I know. Yep. The next one I asked is how many of you are going to college with a specific career path in mind, or how many of you are just going to college to go to college for the experience or for, I don't know, just to go to college. And 78% of them said that they will go to college because they have a career path in mind. I think I rounded these all these percents you see. It was like I did the math and it was more something like point this. So I rounded it to the nearest integer. So 78% of the kids say that they are going to college with a specific career path in mind. But I'm not sure how much of that lines up because only 59% of them know what they want to do when they're older.
78 said that they would go to college for a specific career path, but
But only 59, only 60% of them know what they want to do. So there's a whole 20% that isn't lining up there. And the interesting thing is that on the 59% one, I got 20 less votes than all the other ones. So that's just making me curious, maybe than the average of all the other polls I did. So I got 50 on this one, I got about 70 on all the others.
I was gonna ask you, how many votes did you get or what was the average?
Yep, I ran the numbers. It was like 71.25 or something like when I averaged the.
A lot of people.
I don't know. Maybe. I know a lot of people at the school though for some reason. Like, I've just seen them and they've probably seen me. But I got 20 less on this one, which means that it's possible that.
They just skipped over, or they couldn't answer.
Yeah. Or they didn't want to put it in that they didn't know what they want to do. Maybe it's something they're worried about or stressing.
That's what most people worry about before they go into college. It's like, what do I really want to do?
Yeah.
And some people just go in to college, they get accepted to, and then just, they have no idea what they're in for, and they just pick a random major that they're not going to use later.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
What about the extra or the other polls?
So I was just something I was thinking about is let's say we were to factor these 20 votes that we didn't get in, and it was more
Mhm.
like 21, but if I'm just being,
Just
it was
round
20
it.
votes. So let's say I factored this in, you would only have 40% of 16-year-olds knowing what they want to do when they're older.
That's below average.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
below the halfway mark, which means that 60% of kids. Now, I can't say this because it's a small population of people in a certain area, and I only got like 50 people to respond to that. But at the same time, that means 60% of people have no clue what they want to do.
That's scary.
Yeah.
You know? This is our feet. This is the future, and they just don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I totally get one or two people here or there not knowing what they want to do, but I was asking my parents, is this kind of what you
Is this
would
normal?
expect? Yeah, because they lived through that. And they said that no, everybody they knew when they were growing up wanted to do something. They had something in mind that they wanted to do. And even if it was something that isn't generally considered um, being a good job, they were still proud to be that thing.
You
What?
know, back then they didn't really have, social media influencers, and now that we are literally surrounded by all of them, it's like, do I really want to do this with my career, or could I take the easy way out and become an influencer and test my luck,
Yeah.
see if I can get famous off with that? And so it's a big, um, I don't know, choice.
I
Either
don't think
try and
it's a
live the
choice.
influencer life
I
or
think if you're
go
really
on.
dedicated, you can do both. You can go to college, you can start a YouTube channel, you can, like we're doing the podcast on the side while I'm learning skills so I can get a job out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you can spend time and become an influencer even if your job doesn't work out or even if your job works out. And I think it's good to have a backup plan for
Oh
both.
yeah. But that's most kids' backup plan now. You
Yeah.
know, back in the day, most backups were like, just getting a normal, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, I can make money off of my phone. I don't even have to leave the house.
Yeah. And some people can, but I think becoming an influencer in today's world is
It's much easier.
I think it's much easier, but I think it's also just as hard as becoming an athlete, I think.
Oh, really?
I think it is.
No, it's
Because
luck.
making a living off of being an influencer
Oh, yeah. Being an influencer and making a living off of being an
is
influencer
a
are
big
two
difference, yeah.
very different things.
I think so.
Yeah. Because you can be an influencer and make no money,
Yeah.
but
And I think
you can be like the Paul brothers and make millions.
yeah. I think out of all the platforms, YouTube is probably one of the best places to try to make money, but you have to have really good content. You have to be really consistent. And
Stay.
that's something a lot of people I don't think have, and maybe even me included. I don't know.
I think the easiest way to become a money making influencer is actually not for YouTube. I mean, it used to be for
Uh
YouTube,
huh.
but I feel like social media apps like Instagram, Snapchat, you
Oh,
know,
maybe yeah.
those type of ones, like people blow up in size every single day on Instagram, and
But how
it's like
much
if you
money
make
can you
enough
make
money,
from Instagram?
I think you get a portion if you have enough followers and a following.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously people will want to sponsor or would want you to sponsor their stuff.
That makes
Because,
sense. Yeah.
okay, meme pages on Instagram, most of them
Yeah.
are usually filled with ads because they're making a living. Some people are making a living off of their Instagram page with sponsors, and so they'll post like an ad,
That makes
and
sense. Yeah.
it could be completely bogus too. That's how most of them are, but you know, some people
Yeah.
make a living off of just posting memes,
That's true. That's true.
which is crazy. You say that to 50 years ago, it's like, what are you even talking about? What are memes?
Mm-hmm.
You know? What what are you talking about? You sound crazy.
My mom doesn't even know what a meme is.
Oh my gosh.
My dad does though. He's really up to date on the.
Mhm.
It's just
He's in the know.
yeah. I don't know. It's just it worries me that 60% of kids don't
Don't know.
know yet, and they don't
I mean,
have anything they want to do, or they have no burning passion.
yeah. And that this is the voters, or
Yeah,
the poll taking. Usually, I would think the whole target audience of these polls would be kids our age.
exactly. Yeah, anyone.
And
I would say
so,
I mostly know 15 to 17, 18 year olds.
mhm.
So
These are people that are a couple years away from entering the world,
yeah.
and yeah, it's just scary. They don't know what to do.
So I was just, it's very interesting to me. 67% of kids our age are excited about their future, which
Mm.
means that there's a whole 30% that aren't.
To be honest with you, I'm not really excited.
Really?
I know that, if some stuff doesn't work out, I'm gonna be working a 9 to 5 to feed my family and
Yeah.
not have a happy life.
Does a 9 to
But
5 need to be unhappy?
like an office job,
Yeah.
I would rather, um, the sad truth, I'd rather, the whole question, would you rather make like little to no money
Uh huh.
doing a job that you love, or make a boatload of money with a job that you hate?
Yeah.
I think most people our age would pick, the job that they hate, but they make a boatload of money because,
Yeah.
money runs the world.
It does.
And so without money, money can't buy happiness. I don't really believe that. I think money can buy happiness.
I don't think it buys happiness, but I think it can get you closer to. I think it's a valuable asset to have if you want to be happy.
I remember reading a poll that was like money makes you happier,
Huh.
but I don't know. It could be false.
I think it's easier to be happy when you have money. You can be happy without it, and you can be unhappy with it, but it makes it easier.
You can say it's stress free. The
Yeah,
fact that you're financially stable.
I think so.
That
Yeah,
that's like the peak. That's peak peace. You don't have to worry about paying the bills.
exactly.
You got the money to do it. That's what I think all people that are working 9 to 5s, making ends meet. That's what they all strive for, is
I think so
financial
too.
stability. Mhm.
It's just it makes me. It's curious that 30% aren't excited, and I get why, but
And this next poll's
I,
weird.
oh yeah, okay, yeah,
15% of kids our age have no exciting hobbies that they love to do.
yeah, 15%, which isn't a lot,
A
but
lot, but
no exciting hobbies that you love to do at all.
like at all. Like nothing like, not even something as like playing video games or,
Yeah,
talking to friends or anything. Just absolutely zero.
I'm curious if no, I'm not trying to get canceled or anything, but like I'm curious if this is possibly something that helps to make depression worse, or if it's a
Mhm.
result of depression. I'm curious like which one it is. I'm
I think it's a
curious.
result.
You think so? I'm
Yeah,
thinking
because
so
when
too.
I've been, hate to admit it, but I've been depressed.
Yeah,
And, when I'm depressed, it feels like, oh man, I can't do anything. Like I don't have the motivation to do anything.
yeah,
And, you know, if I was, depressed at the moment of these polls, I'd probably pick that I have nothing exciting hobbies
yeah. I
that I
totally
love to
get
do.
that. I've felt
Hmm.
like that before, and I think for me the biggest way, like I'm not saying like medical
Mm-hmm.
diagnosis, but I know that like I've felt that way before. And I think the biggest thing is just like to pick small things to do and just do them, and it makes a big difference, and then you get back to normal.
Like recently,
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty sad, but recently I cleaned my room.
Yeah.
And my room's pretty big, so it's not like a little thing to do, but I
Mm-hmm.
cleaned my room, I washed my sheets, I made my bed,
Nice.
made me feel a lot happier
It
just
does.
doing little things.
Just being productive is a good feeling.
Mhm. Exactly.
We have two more polls left. 88% of kids our age plan on moving out of the city, state, or country.
Hmm.
Do you want to move out?
Yes.
I do
Most
too.
definitely.
Where do you want to
I
go?
feel I feel like if I don't move out of where we live, because there's not that much to do here.
Yeah.
Um, if I could go anywhere,
Yeah.
I have two choices. Either I'd want to go back up to Wisconsin.
Okay.
I'd want to go up to Wisconsin,
Yeah.
or um, I'd just go wherever, if I get a job somewhere, wherever they need me, I'll go.
That makes sense. Yeah. For
What
me,
about you?
I I'm not quite sure, but I do want to definitely move out of Murfreesboro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want to go back to California. Um,
Prices.
yeah, it's just everything's so
Why?
expensive there, and it's not a good place anymore.
Okay.
But I think I'm debating maybe I want to move to Texas.
Oh, Texas.
Yeah,
Everything's bigger in Texas.
and just because
Everything's cheaper in Texas too.
yeah, and also I love SpaceX. I love Boca Chica, which is where
Is that
the
all?
spaceport is, and I would just love to go see that in person, and
Hmm.
live by that if I could.
Have you ever been to Texas?
No, I have not.
I I went to Houston,
Uh huh.
and I'm pretty sure this was pretty recent to Hurricane Harvey.
Okay.
And yeah, we went to Houston to visit family. And you know how I think we've talked about this before, where you can buy a house in Texas for the same amount of money here, but the house in Texas would be, almost like a mansion.
Oh, really? It's that
And
much
my
cheaper? Wow.
and the house that we stayed in Texas, in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
where my family, I think it was my uncle and my aunt, their house was huge.
Man.
And they're making, I don't know, I don't want to say how much they're making, but
Yeah.
it's not like a boatload of money. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like median.
That's crazy. I was gonna say that it was actually that was the very similar experience when we came from California to here.
You were able to buy, your house is huge.
Yeah, it's pretty on. It's on the big side. And we had like a normal sized house in our old neighborhood.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it was like whoa, and we have a big
I can get
backyard here. It's
so
like
much
wow.
here. Hmm?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said you can get so much here.
You can. It was surprising, and then if imagine going to Texas from California, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you'd be a millionaire in Texas.
Yeah.
Amount of money you have.
The prices in the world like that always surprise me. And because I was thinking you could go to Thailand, and $10 there will get you so far. You could
Yeah.
buy like hotels for $10. It's insane.
This Venezuela, you bring $10,000, you can buy the country.
Yeah.
Money's so bad there.
So the
I
next.
think it was a.
Oh, go.
Oh,
Sorry. Sorry, I
I
thought.
was. My bad.
Don't worry about it.
There was something. I was talking to my dad about this. I don't know if it was Colombia
Uh huh.
or Venezuela, but in a book, you remember? I forgot what it's called. I Survived? No, it wasn't I Survived. It was some book we had to read, and
Okay.
it was based on true stories, and they used the $1 bill was so devalued
Yeah.
that they'd use it as wallpaper.
That's in Germany in the Great Depression in the 1930s.
Really?
They used to burn the money for fire, like for to get fire.
It's crazy.
It wasn't
That's
worth the paper it was printed on.
wow. Hmm.
Yeah. I
That's
worry that's
crazy.
gonna happen here with the dollar. Have you seen how like expensive things are getting lately?
Yeah. I don't know.
So 41% of the kids, this is our final statistic, 41% of the kids, so just under half, hope for someday a universal basic income that would let them not have to work at all. So the options here, I said, I said, would you someday hope for a universal basic income that would let you not have to work? The options were yes, and then like heart emoji eyeball thingy, and then the no, I like to work heart emoji eyeball
Yeah.
thingy. Because I was curious what people would say, and 41
Only
percent of the kids,
41%.
yeah,
You'd think there'd be more.
I feel like that is already high.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I'd wish for a universal basic income, so I don't have to work.
yeah,
But
no, and I
also,
see that. But for me, I feel like working gives you a purpose.
hmm,
I think every person strives for a purpose somehow, and I think for so many people that's your work, even if it's not something you truly enjoy, and that's why so many people after they retire they struggle to find a sense of purpose, or after their kids move out they struggle to find a sense of purpose because after your kids move out, if you're no longer a mom, what are you? You know what I
mm,
mean? So I think working gives a lot of people a purpose. So I think overall, a universal basic income wouldn't be a good thing.
hmm.
But
I can see your points, but I just
yeah,
situation.
in the short term, I think I
Yeah,
agree with you.
I'd love a universal basic income.
I could totally see that.
So, okay, brain games.
Yeah. Do you want to take this
Ooh,
story or should I?
I think I'll take it.
Alrighty.
Okay, so a brand new scientific study has shown that brain games have zero effect on people's brain power. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Brain game. I think brain games are just. Are you stupid? You know?
Well, it's also things like crossword puzzles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought brain games, just like spot out,
No.
spot out the differences, those type of games. But
It's
thinking about it now, you could include those as brain games.
yeah. Well, if that's
Like,
what the test did, crossword puzzles, um, Sudoku, things like that that are Sudoku. I don't know how you say it. I've always said Sudoku because when I was little, but I think it's Sudoku.
yeah,
Um,
depends on the
games like
accent.
that people generally consider to think that they help your brain, and the new
Yep,
scientific study has shown that they have zero effect.
yep. Researchers gathered 1,000 people who used them and pitted them up against 7,000 people who didn't. Right? So it's like there's people that did the test and there's people that didn't.
Yep.
And I don't know why it was 1,000 people who used them, and then
It's because
you
it
know
was harder for them to find.
people who did them
Yeah, just it's
because
like the
people just
one
don't
seventh
do
of
it.
people that do those little brain games regularly.
And and the funny thing is that they scored exactly the same,
Yeah.
which is big ol' fu to the whole study. It's like, wow, you really thought you were gonna get something, and it's like,
Yeah.
nope, the same.
Well, I don't think it's that they went they didn't go into the study expecting a result. They were curious what the result would be.
Hmm.
So they gathered the 1,000 people. They had them take the brain tests. They scored them on a bunch of different things too. Um,
Yeah.
but ultimately they scored the same, and then it was just like, we learned. So
Um, do you use brain training games?
I don't. I
You
I
don't?
always kind of thought they were a little dumb.
In Spanish, we had to do word searches,
Uh huh.
and I wasn't too fond of them.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Sudoku either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do word searches if I am out of ideas, I have nothing to do, um, and there's just so happens to be a word search book. No, I'll do.
Yeah. For me, it's like when you're on an airplane, it's not that they're not
Oh yeah,
fun. It's just that they don't help your brain. I always thought there was like the people who said, "Oh, this will make you smart." It was like,
it's just a way. It's just a way to waste time. Time
yeah,
killer.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Something that we would like to bring up here.
Yeah.
Um, I found another thing in the news this week, and that was that we are finally gonna head back to Venus. We're gonna send
Venus.
more probes to Venus.
Ooh.
So NASA is working on two probes, Da Vinci Plus and Veritas. These are two probes they're going to be two missions. Sorry, they're not both probes, but one of them's a probe. They're both going to head to Venus and try to figure out what happened to it. It used to be kind of an Earth-like planet with oceans and everything. But over time, it got hotter and hotter, and volcanic activity grew and grew. But that's about the extent to which we know. So Da Vinci Plus will be a probe that'll sink into the atmosphere. It'll collect a lot of data. It'll even take pictures of the surface of Mars. I'm really excited for that because that is going to be so cool. Did I say Mars? I meant Venus. It's going to take pictures of the surface of Venus.
Yeah, I think. Mars. No, when I think of Venus, I'm not the biggest space guy, but
yeah,
when I think of Venus, I think of a fiery, hot planet that is constantly on fire, almost like a star.
Yeah. So it's
like, how do you take pictures?
Yeah. It's the planet itself isn't like on fire. It's just that the atmosphere traps in so much heat from the sun that it's like Earth but with global warming to the max. Think about it like that.
Oh.
The atmosphere is a lot denser than Earth too, so that's what helps it trap in all the heat and light. So it's going to be really cool that this probe is going to sink down through the atmosphere, almost like water. Less dense than water, but still going to be really interesting, floating through the air or sinking down into the air. It'll collect data from the atmosphere. It'll take pictures of the surface, while the Veritas probe, the other one, will stay in orbit as a satellite. The missions are going to launch between 2028 and 2030, so that's within 9 years, hopefully. So that'll be exciting to see. I cannot wait for that. This is something I was thinking about, that this made me think about. I think out of all the planets, of course we need to talk about aliens, because that's what the Edutainment Corner podcast...
Yep. Can't be an episode without aliens, you know?
Yeah. So I think, out of all the planets in our solar system, I think we're more likely to find remnants of life on Venus than Mars.
Really?
I think so.
Why is that?
Because it was Earth-like at one point in its history, like in the past. I really do think it's possible that some sort of life could have some sort of life could have arisen on the planet, and it could have reproduced and evolved over many years. I don't think it's going to be an animal. I think that would be leave distinguishable traces, some kind of animal life, but I think some kind of microbial life would be really fascinating to find there.
Do you think of Venus as like a look into the future of if global warming gets out of hand for Earth?
I don't.
Really?
I don't, because I think life has had such an impact on Earth.
Yeah.
And just because our atmosphere won't get so dense, I think that the temperature could theoretically happen on Earth.
But other than that, it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, because I think one of the biggest things about Venus is that the atmosphere is toxic, and it'll crush you.
Yeah.
Because it's so heavy. It's like if you go to the bottom of the ocean, all the water on top of you will crush you.
Yeah.
It's the similar idea with that atmosphere.
All right.
But I do think... Oh, also, I don't know if we got this on the podcast. I think this happened a little bit right before we started. But we detected phosphine on it a while ago, and it turned out that the phosphine we had detected was just an error in the code, but there is still some phosphine on the planet. Not enough that we would think, oh, it's 100% life like we were originally thinking.
Hmm.
but it's still possible that there could be living life on the planet right now, like clouds of microscopic things in the atmosphere that photosynthesize, or
Life.
yeah,
Life on another planet. What
which
about that?
yeah,
That's weird.
I think it's really important to be excited about things like this too. Like I mean, think about the
Exactly.
Mars rovers. That wouldn't be a thing if people weren't excited about Mars and wanting to go set up colonies there. I think the Mars rovers wouldn't have come so soon, and we wouldn't be preparing to go there in 2026, like send crewed missions.
Hmm. I just read something that has no correlation to anything we've talked about on the podcast, but
Okay.
apparently Drake Bell,
Yeah.
um, the Drake from Drake and Josh,
Okay.
has been arrested and charged on crimes against a child.
Whoa. What?
Hmm. He was arrested in Ohio yesterday and charged with attempted endangerment of a child and disseminating matter harmful to juvenile.
Oh my.
Hmm. It's weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't actually know who
Whatever.
that is.
You don't know who Drake Bell is?
I don't.
Okay, he has an interesting story. He he got arrested a long time ago,
Okay.
and I think he went to Mexico, and he has a big hit in Mexico. He makes Spanish songs.
Okay.
Have you never heard of Drake and Josh?
I've never heard of Drake and Josh.
I wish I could play the theme song, but it's copywritten.
Oh,
So,
I'm sure.
but really good show.
Show me off the pod.
I'll show you. Yeah. But back on the subject.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's fascinating. Um, so just something I was thinking about is that you will 100% see a Martian colony in your life, Wayne.
Hmm.
And I bet you in the next 10 years.
Really? You think it's that soon?
100%. Elon Musk is still trying to send a crewed mission in 2026.
2026. That's only 5 years away.
Yeah. He's gonna. So I think the way that this is planning to go is that we're gonna get an orbit launch by the end of 2021 with Starship. It's gonna be SN20 something, and we're gonna get that to orbit. I don't know how many attempts we're gonna have to make, but I'm hoping we can get it first time. And if we can, that will be so huge. Getting a rocket to orbit. And the Starships is what SpaceX is working on to be the vessel to take us to the moon and to Mars. So if we
Is it
can
taking us from the moon to Mars, or from Earth to the moon to the Mars, or there's just Earth
to go across from whichever to whichever,
Oh, okay.
as well as interplanetary travel. So as in Earth to Earth, Mars to
Mhm.
Mars, Moon to Moon. It's all going to be really, really exciting to see these starships, and I think they're going to change transportation. You can get to anywhere on Earth, I think, within an hour in a starship.
Wow.
So getting these
I
things
don't
to
even
orbit
wanna
is
know
going to
the
be
cost of it.
huge.
Cost of it would be insane.
Yeah.
But
But that's what Elon Musk
anything
is
has a
trying to do.
price
He's
on
trying to make it so much more affordable, and it's a tenth it's really really small compared to the price, and just some things alone. So I think he's gotten it down to like 1/100th of the price of what a normal rocket would cost, like built by NASA, with traditional technology.
what do you think that price is?
Huh?
What do you think that price is?
I could not say. I have no idea, but I think Elon Musk said something that the price to go to Mars, like a ticket, is going to be about the same as a house on Earth.
So around 300,000.
Yeah, somewhere between. I think it might be a little bit more, so maybe somewhere between like 300 and 800, but still
Mm.
manageable to save up for and go.
Yes. Does that include like a house on Mars? Is just
I have no
drop them
idea.
off
I
like a
have.
shuttle?
I think it's gonna. All the details are gonna be worked out when it comes closer.
Oh yeah.
And we don't know for now. And I think that's going to be in 20, 30 years, not as soon as they start the Martian colony.
Oh yeah.
But so he's working on the Starship, and he's going to get that prototype to orbit, hopefully, by 2020, by the end of 2021, by the end of this year. Which means that we'll just be working on testing for Mars and for the lunar missions after that. the NASA's going back to the moon soon, which is going to be great. And they're using the Starship for that. They got a grant to give to Elon Musk for that. And I think I'm really excited for the future of space exploration, and I think this is just something that came across my desk today. I don't know if we have a little bit of time to talk about this. Would you mind?
We have all the time in the world.
Okay, sweet. So this is something that I was thinking about that's really, really interesting, is that I saw a video about the cycles of society.
Cycles of society.
Yeah, and about every 80 years or so, the cycle resets, and this is just something that happens. It's sort of pseudoscience-y, who knows, but at the same time, it holds up, depending on what you think. So, think about the Revolutionary War as being like the first conflict. After the Revolutionary War, it's broken up into 4 blocks of 20 years, and then each of those blocks contribute to the next cycle, where there's going to be a huge big conflict.
Like a generation type thing?
Yeah, so about 20 years is in a generation, so sort of like that, yeah.
Okay.
So there's about 4 generations per cycle, or about a single human lifetime. And if you think about it this in a sense where after the Revolutionary War, I don't remember exactly how many years. I think it was between 80 and 100. So I think it was 90 years. When was the Civil War?
1860.
Yeah.
It was 18. The war ended in 1863.
Okay.
No.
So
might have been 1865.
Okay, that might be. I really couldn't say the exact year, but and that sounds bad because I really love history.
Yeah,
but
me too.
So if you were to take the 1860 and the 1776 that the Revolutionary War was going on, if you take those 2 years and you subtract the dates, you get, I think, about 80 years, maybe 90 years, and that's about one of the cycles. So the Civil War was the next big shaping event. Then, as the world became more globalized, the next major event we see is the World War II, which in about the 1940s. So that's another 80 years after the Civil War. If we were to go 80 years from that, we get to 2020.
And we have... Yeah.
Which, right now, is starting to look really interesting.
Yeah, we're on the brink of conflict.
Yeah, and a lot of people predicted that next cycle is going to repeat at about 2026 to 2028.
This might be one of the worst decades we've had in a while.
It's possible. And I'm not trying to say like doom and gloom, because I think what's really exciting for us is that whatever happens, when we live through it, it's going to be one of the best times in history. Because think about it. After the Revolutionary War, people were excited to build a new nation. So they built one of the best places in the world to live.
And then after
the Civil War, it's literally called the era of good feelings.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and then,
everybody was happy.
The 40s, you had the whole, spending. They had all the money.
Well, yeah, that's why they're called the baby boomers, because everybody was building neighborhoods. The American dream was a thing now. You move to America, you buy a house in a neighborhood with a stable job, and you have kids, you have a family. That's like the American dream is such a cool thing after the war. And then over time, this cycle continues, and then as people become born in this great world, they start noticing the problems in this world. And fixing them, and people want to fix them, and it causes conflict. And at the end, you have a big conflict as people who have grown up in the good world, end up creating the next conflict to fix that whatever original problems they were noticing. And we see that with the as the 90s came, which is around the time of the third generation of the cycle, which is where people start unraveling it, and you hear about Kurt Cobain, and he's committing suicide, and the songs of the era are getting a lot darker. Music is a great way to see that, I think, and now today there's a lot of conflict going on, and I think it's something's going to happen at some point. and it's gonna reset and it's gonna be great again.
I think it's gonna be another world war
It could
or
be.
some type of major war.
It could most certainly be. And that might not end well for America.
Might not
I'm
end well
just
for
speculating
you.
because every 3 cycles, it's a big one.
Yeah.
And it's been about 250 years since the Revolutionary War was fought.
Mhm.
Which means that 252 times 80 is the 81 or the 84, whatever number they have on that, is that number times 3. So who knows?
I think
I
it's
don't
a
know.
great way to end off podcast.
Spelling doom and gloom and
Yeah. The world on the brink of war.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I probably sound like a crackpot old fool who's gabbering on about his rambled musings of the end, but it's just interesting, and I don't know if I
I
believe
think.
it, but it
Don't
sounds
worry.
interesting and it's possible. So I think no matter what happens at the end, it'll be good.
Oh
It'll be
yeah,
exciting
most
times.
definitely. If we live to see it,
Of
of
course.
course. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. And
We'll definitely see.
I think that's not going to be the end of this episode. Let's end it on this high note of happiness. So,
Yes.
guys, if you liked the episode, make sure you go to the YouTube and subscribe if you haven't already liked the video, because that really helps us out. If you listen to it on YouTube, or you watched it on YouTube, go to the Spotify, re-listen to the entire thing. To do whatever likes or things are on Spotify. Follow us, I think you can on Spotify. If you listen to it on Spotify, go to the YouTube, like, subscribe, and re-listen, re-watch the entire thing on YouTube, just because that's what you should do. With that, I think that's about it. I think we're going to
Had
say
a great
bye.
time.
I most certainly did, my dude. This was awesome. So,
Bye bye.
adios. Bye.